Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are watching this video. This is Mr. Argueta coming to you week number 3 in our summer organizational behavior course. Well done, everyone. We've been trying to keep up with what's going on. I understand it is summer, and a lot of you are probably dealing with a bunch of stuff going on at home or in general. Let me move this mic a little closer to me. Sorry about that. Anyhow. So I wanted to get this video out yesterday, but unfortunately was not able to. So I'm sorry about that. I try to get it out on Monday morning to be able to assist you on what to expect and what you're looking at. So part of what I want to talk about is sort of what we're looking at. I think this part in regards to organizational behavior, this chapter in particular, chapter 5 really focuses on what I find to be one of the number one topics that I do in corporate training, and it's motivation. And a lot of people have this old concept still on motivation, the carrot on a stick. Like, there was an old commercial, and this is probably going to age me a little bit. There was an insurance commercial where it's like a carrot on a stick, and this old man is like waving a carrot on a stick and telling the guy, like, you almost got it. He actually has a dollar on like a fishing pole, and he's like, you almost got it. And they used to teach that actually in business school, like, the carrot on a stick, and it's still utilized today in a lot of places, like in sales, right? They if you're in sales, they'll say, like, if you sell this much, you're going to get this amount. If you sell that much, you're going to get this amount. And the carrot on the stick concept of motivation actually still is utilized and works, but it's not a blanket statement. And understanding motivation is extremely important because not all of us are motivated by that. And to be honest with you, money is a motivator, but it's short-lived. And one of the questions that I usually bring up during a corporate training is I say, how long do you think a raise or a bonus or whatever motivates you? How long does that feeling of motivation of coming to work actually excites you? And the answers vary, but for the most part, people say till you get the first check. Then you realize it's not as impactful as you thought it was. So I want to go back even further. Like, remember when you first got your job, how excited you were. You shared it with, oh, I got a job. You're all pumped up about it. I remember my first job I was so excited about and couldn't wait to get there. And then shortly after, I realized that I hated that job, and the motivation died out. And we all go through this, and we need to discover it, especially in management and organizational behavior, the organization, how it behaves, and our responsibility as managers to manage that motivation. So this chapter really focuses on some of the key topics that we do a lot of trainings on. One of which I'm a big fan of. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or the need hierarchy. And Abraham Maslow created this sort of pyramid. And you should have saw this in your intro to business class if you've taken that. And I think the intro to business class has a discussion regarding this topic, but it's a very important conversation to have as a manager, because you can quickly identify when someone is falling out of that and the motivation is declining and your team is no longer motivated to go to work. And of course, it talks about the different stages that one has to sort of go through with it, and starting out with the physiological concepts of motivation, what motivates us, and the very bare needs to sleep and eat and rest, and just kind of the simple things to breathe. And then it goes on. And at one point, and I talk about this a lot, at one point, people start being sort of discouraged. They go to work and they see the clique, and they see the groups that are being promoted, and they're not being promoted, or they're not being praised. And believe it or not being a part of that group destroys motivation. And you feel like, why should I work any harder when everyone else is getting a raise and not me, when everyone else has an opportunity to be promoted but not me? So it kills morale. And I promise you, I've not been to a place in Northwest Georgia or in America for any companies that I've worked alongside of or contracted to work with that has not said, when I ask the question, what is one of your biggest issues here? And they'll say morale. morale. That's our biggest concern. It's morale. Our morale is down. And when we look at root cause analysis, we start looking at motivation. Why is morale down? And you start finding these sort of pockets. So I think it's important for you as future leaders and managers, or current leaders and managers, to understand that a lot of that morale reflects back on the way we manage motivation and how we include people into the process, how we include everyone into the decision-making portion. And I am not in any way saying this is the formula to do it. You have to discover that and figure that out. But then it also talks about the interesting concept of intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. Like an intrinsic motivator is like when someone volunteers to work at a soup kitchen, or volunteers when a family in your circle of friends is sick and everyone rotates to provide a meal for them. You're not expecting money from that, right? Because money's not the motivator. The motivator is intrinsic within you to do it out of your kind heart. Right? When you go on Thanksgiving or a holiday and you donate something, or donate a turkey, or on Christmas you donate a gift to a needy child, you're not expecting something in return. You're doing it because there's an internal motivator that actually fulfills that. The extrinsic motivators are those like a bonus or a check or something physical that you gain, a prize. If you do this, you're gonna win that. That's the carrot on the stick concept, which I'm not bashing. I think there's a place for that. They're needed, but I try to focus, especially when you're dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. No company has endless funds to continue to give raises to everybody. I wish that would be great, but it doesn't exist. So as managers, we also sometimes don't have the power to just hand out bonuses. So we're left with intrinsic motivators to become one of the sources that we use. And how do we do that? How do we create motivation and keep a balance between all of this and help people through this journey? And in my world, is finding that connection to your job that intrinsically motivates people. For example, there's a bare minimum that's required for my position, right? I could look at that bare minimum and do that. And in no place does it require me to make these videos. I mean, there's nothing written that says you are required to weekly connect with your students and make a video so they can see you and you can hear from them. But intrinsically within me, there is a desire to connect with you because I was you. I took online classes. I felt disconnected. I didn't feel like I knew who the other person was. And my experience as a student actually formed or created a structure as an instructor. So as a professor, I look at your scenario and I go, I would have loved to have a connection with my instructors, with my professors, and know what their thought pattern was on this chapter, not just hear a lecture, but hear how they use it in life, right? So keep that in mind. Like everything that you see around you, I also believe that even this video is a motivator to you to engage, to be a part of this group, to be a part of this. Because if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what I am trying to replicate is a motivation to watch the video and feel a part of something different than your experiences in the past with online classes. Now, granted, some of you have already had this experience, so you've even mentioned it in your post, like, oh, I had a class with you and I love the videos. Well, that created a motivation to come back every week and look for the video and engage with me, which is, by the way, a requirement of an online class, not by us, but by the state of Georgia. And by all means, anywhere you go, you're going to have a requirement to create an environment for students to engage. So my job as, let's say, the leader, the manager of this course is how do I create an environment where you feel motivated to engage intrinsically to this class? And in my world, the answer was opening myself up and talking about coffee and my vacations and my life and telling you who I am and invite you into this world that I'm a part of and make you a part of that. So I hope you're connecting some of these dots, because it's important for us to understand that as managers and leaders, it is our responsibility to do that job at the best that we can. It's our job to be on top of our game and understand that if morale is down, I can make a difference in that. I can't play the victim. I need to go in there and figure out what I can do to attribute a change, to help motivate, to help increase that morale. Whew, that's a lot. I'm sorry, guys. I got on a little bit of a soapbox. But that said, I also want to encourage you. I am not against artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, Grammarly, Gemini. I'm not against that. I encourage you to utilize that properly. And I just want to make this statement because I think that sometimes we lose the focus of the purpose of these classes. If you're just trying to check a box, you're wasting the opportunity that has been given to you. And I don't want you to do that because I believe that there's information here that will be very valuable in your future. And those students that have come through the program, that have extracted the value and the knowledge that they need to become good managers, I see them succeed. And then there's students that just try to get through the system and they think that with a piece of paper, they're going to say, I graduated, give me a job. Well, you might get one, but they'll quickly know you don't know what you're talking about. You're not qualified. And I encourage you to please be conscious, because I will not in any way accept a prompted AI usage. And if you're going to go through the process of trying to humanize it, I have experience in this. I could tell the difference. It hallucinates. It doesn't make sense. It's a machine, guys. It's not a person. It has no emotions. I can tell. We are not in a doctorate level class. We're in the first and second year college. I understand when AI is being utilized and it's not your voice, because it doesn't have a voice. You could humanize it and all it does is garbage in, garbage out. I can tell it to prompt something, create this, and then I say humanize it, and it humanizes it, and all it does, it creates a fake emotion that makes no sense. Or it states a fact that has no cited references. So I don't want to come down on everyone, because there's the few that destroy it for the batch. So for those of you who are doing it right and you're utilizing artificial intelligence in some form, just make sure you state it like, hey, these are my words, but I used ChatGPT or Gemini or Grammarly to correct my errors. Perfect. Hey, more power. Awesome. You need to learn how to utilize it. But to prompt something, I can tell immediately it's not you. I know immediately when you're not connected to it, your voice is not there. Plus, I can see the errors that it creates because I've seen the back end of this, and I would correct the errors from a back end. I would see it. So please, I don't want to create an environment where I become a detective and a cop trying to catch people. That's not the purpose of this. Let's have an engaging and effective relationship. So I respect the fact that you are all working adults, and I would love to get mutual respect that I am too, trying to help prepare you for a future within this world of business. So that all stated, I don't like ending in a bad note. So I want to tell you that it's been hot these last couple of days. My wife and daughter actually went to Guatemala. I don't know if we have any people that are from Guatemala in the class, but they went and they actually hiked the Fuego volcano. I might be able to put up a picture and show you. My daughter sent me a picture. They hiked 5.5 hours yesterday, and then they're going to hike another half today. It's a 2-day hike. They stay overnight on base camp, but the volcano is erupting. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's not dangerous at this point. It could be dangerous, but I'll post a picture just to show you. And yeah, so guys, once again, I appreciate you. I really do. And I appreciate that you're going through a lot. Trust me, I was an adult learner. I understand there's a lot involved in being an adult learner. So I respect that and I honor that. So let's do this right. I appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.